This is the PXN V9 steering wheel. A ton of you have been requesting that I check it out, so I decided to pick one up. Today I'll be unboxing and giving my first impressions on it, but make sure to stay tuned for the thorough review I will be releasing on it in just a few weeks' time. The PXN V9 comes in this very modern, sleek box. Around it you can find images of the product itself, as well as some information on the wheel and whatnot. I'm personally a fan of the box's design as it gives the wheel a very minimal and sleek look, but I don't think that many people actually care about the box, so let's just open this up and see what comes inside. Opening it up, as I expected, everything comes tightly packed together. First thing I took out was this rectangular cardboard box, which we'll be opening up in just a few seconds. Then of course the wheel itself, which had some weight to it, a USB cable for using this wheel on a PlayStation or Xbox, these rubber suction cups that I assume are either for the pedals or the shifter, the PXN's user manual, which I'll be taking a look at later, the 6-speed shifter, and finally underneath everything else, the pedals themselves. You certainly receive a lot within this box, and thankfully everything arrives securely and in one place. Now let's take a more in-depth look at everything. This included USB cable will allow you to connect the V9 to your PlayStation or Xbox console. The included suction cups are going to be used to hold down the pedals, I believe, and they stick well to my desk, so I don't think I'll be having many issues with them. The user manual is in half Chinese and half English, and will explain how to connect everything up to your desired system. I'll talk more about this once I actually hook it up to my PC in the review. Within the rectangular box I mentioned earlier, 2 plastic table clamps are included. I assume these are going to be needed to hook up the wheel to any desk or flat surface. The H-pattern shifter comes wrapped in cardboard to ensure it arrives in one piece. After spending a few seconds figuring out how to take it out, here it is. It's actually better than I expected, albeit it's nothing crazy, but the plastic feels rigid and feels tightly put together. Shifting around feels nice, although not much force is needed to go through the gears. It feels very close to the Logitech shifter in that regard. It comes with these 2 switches, which I'm not exactly sure what they're used for quite yet. I think they might just be programmable for whatever you want once in game. Underneath the shifter is the table clamp, since this cannot be hard mounted to any cockpit. Finally, this shifter will plug in directly to the wheel itself, and thus, similar to the Logitech one, cannot be used with any other combination of wheels. Overall, the shifter is slightly better than I expected from a first impressions perspective, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it holds up in game. Now let's move on to the pedals. These pedals are made primarily of plastic with brushed metal faceplates. They include a clutch pedal, which is nice to have and makes sense considering it comes with a manual gearbox. They have a retractable plastic pedal plate, which I believe is designed like this primarily for packaging purposes. There's nothing too notable about it other than the fact that it's made out of plastic and has this texture to it. Underneath the pedal set you see some rubber grips. Since this pedal set also has no hard mounting nor carpet spikes, you'll have to rely solely on these, although I think they'll be fine considering the force needed to push these pedals down. Oh, and talking about the force, well, there's not much needed, and it's very obvious that this is designed for children. All 3 pedals require the same force to push down, but they do have some decent travel to them. I do however like the metal pedal plates, as it at least gives the pedal set a nicer overall look. Now let's talk about the wheel itself. From a build quality perspective, it's actually not so bad, but there are a few things I'm not a big fan of. Let's talk about what I like first. For starters, the wheel rim has a decent size to it. I believe it's about the same size as the Thrustmaster T150 and the Logitech G29 and G920 for reference. Although it's made almost entirely of plastic, the sides of it are wrapped in a very subtle rubber-like material. The only reason I say rubber-like is because I'm not entirely sure if this is indeed rubber, since it still has a little plastic feel to it, but it does feel at least somewhat comfortable to hold on to. Moreover, all of the buttons and pedal shifters are at close reach when your hand is on the wheel, which is of course a good thing. Looking at the wheelbase itself, it's made out of hard plastic and has a pretty cool modern look to it. In terms of what I don't like from a first impressions perspective, I'm not a fan of how any of the buttons or the paddle shifters feel. The D-pad and buttons feel not only plasticky, but less satisfying to press down than even an Xbox or PlayStation controller would. There's just very little travel from the buttons themselves. The same goes with the paddle shifters. Not only are they made from a very thin plastic sheet, which I don't think will be very durable in the long term, but it also has a very kid toy feel to it. And I know what some of you are saying, well duh, this is a kid's toy, but in all honesty, it's not really marketed as one, nor priced as one in that regard, considering I spent $200 on this. Anyways, I'm still very much looking forward to putting this wheel up to its paces within the next few weeks, and I'll be sure to report back, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Hope you all enjoyed this quick unboxing and first impressions video. If you did, please consider pressing the like button as it helps YouTube recommend this video to more people and it helps the channel grow. But with all that being said, thank you all for watching, stay safe, and as always, have a fantastic rest of your day.